Luna, no.
Welcome back! Welcome back to Mornings with Makaykay. I'm Makaykay, and if you are new, these are Monday morning series that I have started on my channel almost 3 years ago. Typically, I film one of these videos when I have an important topic that I want to discuss in like a casual and authentic way, so I strip all the lighting, and I join you from my bed with my PJs on, no makeup on, didn't do my hair, a cup of tea or coffee. This morning, I'm drinking green tea. Side note, I already had my coffee when I was getting ready to film, and we just talk in a really chill, casual, and authentic way about a topic of my choice. And today I'm going to be talking about how to get over a hard breakup. Surprising, I know. If you missed my breakup video, I explained everything in detail over there. I'm going to link that above and down below so you can catch up on kind of what happened and how I've been doing, how I'm feeling, because today I'm going to delve into kind of how I got from point A to point B. Point A being heartbroken, distraught, sad, to point B where I am right now, which is just good. It took a lot of work, it took a lot of patience, it took a lot of tears, but I feel really good, and I feel like this video might be able to help someone out there. So maybe this video is for you, maybe it's not. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Luna. Also, I want to give a shout out to this commenter because she reminded me that I definitely need to film more Mornings with Makaykay videos. This one is for you. I made a short little list of all the things that helped me these last 2 months when I was going through this breakup. I also kind of just want to ramble and see what happens with my stream of consciousness because I feel like that could be most helpful too. Basically, this was my first serious relationship, meaning that it was also my first serious breakup. I have definitely dated before and fallen for guys, but I've never been this invested. There was a ring, there was a future that we saw, there were names for our kids that we had picked out. It's really hard to suddenly realize that none of that exists anymore. Like, these kids, they're never going to exist. Like, they're never going to be who we thought they were, and everything that we imagined is now gone, and that can be really, really sad at first to accept. I mean, not only are you now single, but you have to start piecing together your future. It took a lot to get to where I am right now. Right now, I am very, very happy with who I am. I'm very confident being on my own, and I feel really good, but it wasn't always like that. So when we first broke up, I was kind of at a loss of my own identity. I didn't really remember who I was single and by myself, and I didn't know, am I the same person that I was before I started dating this guy? What type of single person am I at 23? Is she the same person at 21 when she was dating? And what type of values do I hold in relationships and dating? Because they might not be the same values or habits that I had when I was younger and single. Before I get into like more recent stuff, I just want to start with what helped initially, like the very first few days that I was going through this hard time. And not only was I going through this hard time, but for the most part, I was going through it alone because I didn't tell anyone that we broke up for at least a week. And then that first week, I just told some close friends at work. Like a month later, I told my family. So I felt like I was going through this battle alone. And I think that's why Dear Evan Hansen helped me so much. So I use Spotify, love it, love Spotify. I've been using it for years. Follow me on Spotify. I've had a few songs from the Dear Evan Hansen soundtrack in my library, so it would come up on shuffle, but I really believe that I was meant to hear You Will Be Found and all those songs when I needed to hear it most, and that was when I was really sad. It really like struck something with me, so then I started playing the whole soundtrack, and now it has been on repeat for like the last month and a half of my life. So finding songs or music that can help you through hard times makes such a big difference. I can go from crying in my car at a loss of who I am, realizing that I can never go back to California the same way before without him, or you know, all these breakup feelings that you have, and then I could hit play on Spotify and end up belting. Does anybody have a map? Music is really healing. Music helps. I also want to give a shout out to my high school friend because when she went through a hard breakup, I remember being in her passenger seat and she started playing A Little Bit Stronger by Sarah Evans. We all know it's a great jam, and she just kept saying that it helped her so much, and she would just sob and sob to that song, and it helped. I thought of her and I played it, and it was like I was hearing it for the first time because I could suddenly relate to it in a different way than before. And then 2 AM/Breathe helped a lot. You just really have to find those tunes that kind of just warm your heart and make you feel a little less alone and a little happier. So I created a playlist on Spotify. It's called The Breakup. It's filled with sad, sappy songs like that helped, as well as like girl boss jams, you know, Thank You Next and all that. Definitely leave my Spotify username, so if you want to go listen to it, you can check it out. That playlist helped me a ton. I still listen to it. Music is very healing. That being said, another thing that helped me with this hard breakup was playing music and making my own. I've been playing piano since I was 5 5 years old, and I've been playing guitar since I was 17. I spent a lot of nights back at my parents' house playing their piano because I obviously don't have one here. Releasing it all onto the keyboard, it helps so much in a way where I don't think I can explain unless you also play music. It made me feel really connected with myself again. The piano is such a big part of me. It felt like me, and that's what I'm trying to find during this hard time. I was trying to write more. Before dating Brendan, I was writing a lot more than when I was dating him, and that's just, you know, my choice of spending more time with a person than a notebook. I tried to read more. If you couldn't tell, I've been really on top of it with this YouTube game lately, and that is A, because school is now out for me, and B, because I'm trying to distract myself and focus on something that I can control. But just trying to find anything that makes you feel like warm and taken care of. Another big thing that helped me was accepting the fact that it is totally okay to not be okay and just letting it out. I cried so much that first week that we broke up, and I had just gotten my eyelashes done. If you get eyelash extensions, you know that the one thing you're not supposed to do is get your lashes wet. Sobbing all week. Screw the lashes. I was a mess. I let myself cry. I let myself feel. I let myself get it out of my system because it's therapeutic and your body is cleansing itself. In literature, whenever there's a reference to water, you have to think, okay, is this a baptism? Is this a renewal? Is this a cleansing of some sort? All the symbolic meanings with literature that all us English freaks always try to label. But when you're crying, your body is doing that for you. It's a cleanse. It's trying to help you. It is like a renewal of some sort. So I just tried to really like allow myself to feel these emotions, allow myself to cry. And then I also remember the first day that I didn't cry. I made it an entire day without breaking down and crying, and it was such a big accomplishment. I wrote it down in one of my journals. I felt so strong. That was such a big moment for me. And I'm not saying that it's linear. I'm not saying you cry and cry and cry and then suddenly you just don't cry anymore and it's better, because healing is not linear. Healing is like the opposite of linear. I could go a week and be fine, and then there'll be one night where I watch a movie on Netflix or I think about our stockings from Christmas last year that I still have, and I can break down and cry again. So it's okay. I think a really big thing that helped me was just accepting that there will be times where you can feel sad even if you are healing and recovering, and you have to just allow yourself to go through those emotions to get past it, because it can't stay that way forever. Emotions are very temporary and you will get through it, and that is something that like my younger self, not even dealing with heartbreak but just emotions in general, like I had such a hard time comprehending that growing up. But if there's anything I could say to my younger self, it's that emotions are temporary and you will get through this. Going off of that, my next note on this little notebook that I made for this video is embracing the sad, which I kind of talked about with like music and allowing yourself to cry, and then keeping track of crying, like how many days. I don't know if this is helpful for everyone, but I found it super helpful to keep track of when I cried and just like allowing myself to feel those feelings. Also with a different breakup, not this recent one, but something that helped me back then. I didn't do it this time because it would be too difficult, but the first conscious realization that I was thinking about him, I wrote down the time in my phone and I tracked it. What time throughout the day did I think about him first, and how many times a day? I started to notice it declining, where I thought about him less and less. If you think that's going to help you, then do it. Like for me, it was super helpful to track my feelings and emotions because it helped me feel more in tune with who I am. And like I was saying earlier, when I first was broken up with and was by myself, I didn't know who the heck I was anymore. I didn't know who single Makayla was. I really had to search for who she is now in 2019. Oh my god. I mean, we're changing all the time. I knew who I was in that relationship. I was in a very big comfort zone, but suddenly I was by myself and I just didn't know who I was. That can be kind of scary. Ooh, the next thing on my list is super crucial and you don't always get it, which is why this can be difficult, but finding closure. I was very fortunate to have more than one type of closure with this breakup and to be able to communicate, feel like, okay, chapter closed on my life, like closure, we're good. I'll talk about kind of the closure that happened with this last relationship, and then I'll talk about what happened when closure didn't happen with previous relationships and my advice to you. Luna, you were making this so hard. Like I said, we broke up October 24th, but I was still lucky enough to get dinner with him like a week later, I believe, and then we got dinner on what would be our 2-year anniversary, and then didn't really tell anyone this, but then we got dinner again in December and saw A Christmas Carol. I had 3 opportunities to see him after we broke up, and each time was different. I think I said this in the breakup video, but the first time we got dinner, I still wanted to get back together. And then the second time we got dinner, which would have been our 2-year anniversary, I was like, this is good, this is closure. And I just really wanted to celebrate the times that we had and move on. I can't really speak for him in this video, but he wanted other things, and I was like, dude, I'm good. Like, this is it, goodbye. And then the weirdest one yet was when we got dinner and saw that play a few weeks ago, because I had already moved on and it was kind of obvious. I was very, very friend-zoney, dodged him, and I gave him like a side hug. I was nice, but I was definitely just friendly, and he picked up on that very quickly. At the end, he asked, you know, I'll probably regret asking this, but have you met someone? Stuff like that. And I didn't tell him. I said, you don't want to know, because I know our dynamics. I knew what would help him and I knew what would hurt him. We kind of discussed it a little bit, and he was taken by surprise that I had moved on so quickly. Honestly, I was just doing me, trying to like heal myself and recover through this breakup in any way that I could. And I told him maybe this is what you need to finally move on. I got really good closure that night because I mentally had moved on. Mentally and physically, I'd moved on. Let's be real. Moral of that situation is I got really good closure with this last relationship, and that helped me both move on, heal, and just kind of feel like it had come to an end. I wasn't romanticizing anything. I wasn't imagining getting back together with him. Closure is great. If you have the opportunity to speak, if you have the opportunity to get that closure with that person, I recommend it. You don't want to regret not saying something or asking a question when you have the chance now, because you might not get that chance later on. And I know what that's like, because in high school I never got the chance to have closure with someone that to this day like means a lot to me, and I think it's just because I never got closure, I'm still romanticizing it. I'm still thinking about him in the way that 18, 19-year-old Makayla would think about him. I found closure in my own way with that person in that relationship. Like I said, I love to write. I have a notebook full of letters that I write to boys that I can never send. His is the first one. Also, fun fact, I have a video where I share that letter with you, so I'll link that above and down below. I think it's called A Letter to the Boy Who Broke My Heart. It's my own type of closure. It's everything I wish I could have told him / still need to tell him, but I can't. It's crazy, but I hope he's seen it. So if you're unable to speak to them directly, write them a letter. Find a way to get that own closure for yourself so that you can feel better. On that topic of for yourself and feeling better, love yourself. That helped me a ton throughout this breakup. And you can love yourself in many different ways. I invested in my apartment, in my space, in my wardrobe, in my skincare. I just tried so hard to take good care of myself, because heck, no one else is gonna do it. Like, it's only up to you. I wanted her, as in me, to feel loved, to feel taken care of. I tried really hard to eat well, to drink a lot of water, just to really like be nice to my body and my mind and my soul. Not hurting yourself either, which can take form in drinking or not sleeping well. Just really try to take care of yourself and give her love, because that's what you need right now. A good example of how I love myself, oh my god, this is like awful that I'm promoting this, but a good example of how I love myself is treating yourself. And I made a video about this, treat yourself, because I went on a huge shopping spree one night. Something inside of me just said, like, you have to go to the Mall of America, you need to just buy yourself like just something for the holidays. I try to listen to my gut instinct and what my mind is telling me at all times, because I think it's really important to listen to yourself. Like, you have that gut feeling for a reason, so listen to it. It's what makes people so intuitive, it's what makes some psychics psychic, and it's all about like practicing and using that muscle, if that makes sense. So I try really hard to listen to my gut instinct, and that night she was telling me to go to the Mall of America, so I went, and I ended up giving myself a huge shopping spree. I don't even want to add up how much money I spent. I rarely do that, so I definitely felt like I deserved it, like I needed it. And I talked about this in that haul, I'll link that above and down below, but I feel like I really just needed a set of clothing that nobody has touched, because I'm very sentimental with my outfits, and I didn't want all these memories attached to my clothes anymore. So I got a new set of pajamas. Actually, I'm wearing them right now. This entire outfit's from Garage. But I got new clothes, I got new underwear. Like, I just wanted things to feel fresh and new, and I didn't want anyone to know them. Like, I didn't want my ex-boyfriend to know what I was wearing anymore. I wanted to feel like a new version of me. So I do recommend retail therapy within limits. If you think you can afford it, if it will help you, definitely do it. Buy yourself like some new new underwear, some new tank tops, some new clothing, like a new jacket, like anything to just not feel like the same person that you were when you were dating this person. Definitely recommend. And the last note that I made for this video is feeling sexy. This is super important. I was at work the other night. One of my coworkers told me, like, girl, the glow up is real. And I didn't really know what she meant at first. She was like, that breakup glow up, like when people get dumped or you go through a hard time, there is a glow up, and she saw it. I feel it. Follow me on Instagram and you'll see it too, because whew. But finding a way to just feel sexy in your own skin, it makes a big difference. I've never felt more confident and sexier than I do right now, and I think that is because I am loving myself. I'm good on my own. I'm not waiting for another person to feel that way towards me and then tell me that's how I am. It's all coming from within. Maybe like making a list, like I feel sexy when ... I know for me, I feel sexy when I don't wear a bra, when I don't wear makeup. Just trying to like find ways that make you feel confident. This is going to sound very millennial, very 21st century-esque, but take a lot of selfies, because I feel really good now when I take selfies, and I feel like when I was in a relationship, I just didn't. I feel so different. I feel so good. I feel so cleansed, refreshed. I don't know how else to explain it, except those were the biggest things that helped me throughout this time. I did want to add one more thing, and I'm super nervous because I don't know exactly the age of the audience that watches these videos, but heck, this is about a breakup and I'm in my 20s, so I'm just gonna say it. Moving on and like rebounding or sleeping with somebody else, it can help you, but it can also really hurt you, and it's a very fine line. We all know the saying that the best way to get over someone is to get under somebody else. A lot of us have been there and we've done it. There is a very fine line between being ready to do that and then being not ready and ending up just hurting yourself more in the end. To be a little vague, I thought I was ready a little bit ago. I thought it would help, and I actually felt really hurt afterwards. I felt empty and upset at myself. I just remember thinking, like, this sucks. Like, sex with someone that doesn't care about you is not always the best. So keep that in mind, because yes, it might help you. It could just really make you sad, but at the same time, just make sure that you're ready, because I don't think I was ready. It helped me in some ways, but it definitely hurt me and made things a lot harder in other ways. So again, just being aware of yourself, knowing yourself, loving yourself, just make sure that you feel consciously ready to do that and to move on, because casual sex isn't always casual. It isn't always great either. I did just want to add that whole concept of moving on and sleeping with somebody else, because it is a bit of advice that I probably would never have gotten growing up. So if you are younger or going through this, I want to be that one person to tell you this in case nobody else does, that yes, sleeping with somebody else can help, because oh, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone, but just make sure that you're ready, because it could help you, but it could very much just end up hurting you more in the end, and that's the last thing you need / want when you're going through this. That's what helped me most during these last 2 months going through this hard breakup. I'm going to end this video with my goals that I made. I feel like when you're going through a hard time, you have to have like that light at the end of the tunnel to look forward to. I mentally made some promises to myself during this hard time. One of them is I will not seek out a relationship by myself, if that makes sense. So really that means I'm not going to download Tinder, but I'm also not going to be the one to try to get into another relationship. The fine line though is that if it happens, it happens, but I'm not going to be the one that goes out of my way to make it happen, because I feel like part of it is out of my own control. So that was one promise I made to myself, because I really wanted to spend this year embracing who I am, enjoying life single, really being comfortable on my own and living independently and focusing on YouTube and my career. And when a relationship happens, they always say that a relationship happens when you least expect it, and I want it to be an organic relationship. I met my ex-boyfriend on Tinder, and I met all the other boy toys before him on Tinder, and I'm done with it. I'm done with Tinder. So that was another promise to myself, was that the next person that I end up seeing, I really wanted to meet them in an organic way, you know, in person, have like an established relationship of some sort. I never really liked how when people asked me about my ex-boyfriend and they asked, how'd you guys meet? I would have to tell them Tinder. So I want to be able to tell someone now when I'm seeing someone, oh, how'd you guys meet? Like an actual answer and not just on an app. That's my last bit of advice. Just make some promises to yourself, learn from the situation, try not to make the same mistakes again. At least that's why I made those promises. Not looking for a relationship for a year, no dating apps, pursuing something organically and not like online, focusing on yourself, focusing on YouTube. That's going to be it for today's video. It was super long, so I really appreciate you if you are still watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. We really are like one big family with lots of love to go around. It's never too late to join. All you have to do is hit subscribe. I hope you are having a wonderful Monday and a great start to your week. See you guys really soon with a new video. Say goodbye, Luna. Say I was very naughty during filming as always.